Hi, everyone. Welcome to Wise Counsel Live. Smaller group of us today. We're going to be talking about dollar cost averaging, and something that's been particularly relevant. But just wanted to give a second for people to jump on. And so while we're waiting for everybody to roll in here for a minute or so, wanted to share this as I'm sure everybody's aware. A lot of crazy things going on out there with the virus. Things are starting to pick back up. So just wanted to announce this if we haven't spoken with you recently. So yesterday, Williamson County, where our Georgetown office is, put into effect this notice. And it actually goes into effect Friday, but most of you we've been talking with on Zoom or here on, if you're on here, you're pretty familiar with it at this point, but talking by phone. And just wanted to take a second to say that we really appreciate everybody's patience with this and understanding. So things are starting to get really serious, and I know a lot of the local governments, Travis County, Hayes County, have all been implementing this mask requirement. So in across Texas and the US, this has been, whoa, go back to that. So for the time being anyways, as most of you guys know and have communicated with us recently, we are refraining from meeting in person. And so hopefully we can get back to meeting with you guys in the office on a regular basis. But until then, we'll use these technology tools that we've been using here for a while. So with that, let's jump on in. For anyone that's joined here in the last couple seconds, we're going to be talking today about dollar cost averaging. We'll start off just explaining real quick what is dollar cost averaging, and then we'll jump into an example here. So dollar cost averaging, or DCA, as it's often shortened to, is it's the practice of taking a large investment and dividing it up into smaller chunks of money and then investing that periodically on a consistent timed basis. So most of you had maybe a 401k or a 403b, some kind of retirement plan at one of your jobs, or maybe you just had an IRA, a Roth IRA, where you set up that bank draft coming in every month. And so whether you intended to or not, you were actually dollar cost averaging in those accounts likely. So it actually has a real nice benefit that happens over time. And the goal is to take the volatility that can happen in the market with it moving up and down, and to minimize the effect that those market swings have on your investment. And so you're basically trying to reduce the volatility on your timing of when you're putting that money in. And so if maybe you have a chunk of money that you have sitting in the bank right now, or maybe it's in a CD or something more conservative, and you've been holding on to it for a while, and you're saying, hey, when the market drops, maybe I'll put a little bit of money in, or it can also really be a relevant thing if you have a situation where you're doing that. So as most of you are aware, the market's been moving around a lot over the last few months. And so it's something that's been particularly relevant for many of you as you say, hey, I have a chunk of money over here. And so if you've been one of those people that we've spoken with recently about that, we probably said, hey, maybe if it's a considerable amount, maybe we can put that in, divided it up into smaller pieces, and over the course of 4 weeks or 8 weeks, or even 4 months, we can just move that in gradually. So what that does over time is it actually makes the price that you're buying, or the cost that you have of buying any investment that you're moving into, it actually makes that cost lower than the average price that you're investing. And it's kind of a weird phenomenon that goes on there, but let's dive into this example here, and we'll show how that works. So we have Fred Flintstone here. He's earning, he's got a nice salary at the rock company. He's earning $1,000 a week. He gets paid weekly, and he's decided that he's going to invest $100 of every paycheck that he gets. Um, so just in the course of a month, what might happen to that? So he's putting in $100 every week. In the first week, let's just say he's buying a stock or a mutual fund. Let's just say some kind of fund. And the price of that investment is $20 on the first week. So when he invests $100, he can buy 5 shares of it. And then the second week it goes down to $10. And so he's investing the same amount. And since it's worth the price of that share is lower, he's actually buying more shares at the lower price. And so the third week the price shoots back up. It's back up at 20. He only buys 5 again, same $100 amount. And then it goes back down again to $10. And so in that 4-week period, as the price goes up, he buys less. And as the price goes down, he buys more. And so the average price over those 4 weeks was about $15. But since he bought more at the lower price, you can see right here, he invested a total of $400. He ended up buying 30 shares. And so his average cost was $13.33. You might say, okay, well, that's not a big deal. The average price was $15, but his average cost was $13.33. But if you think about doing this like in a 401k plan over the course of 20 or 30 years, in some cases, it can have a massive effect on helping reduce the effect of the market volatility. So you're basically ending up with everything averaging out, so that you're getting a better a lower cost on those shares. So many of you have maybe it's a Roth account, let's just say, for instance, for the younger folks that are watching today. Roth accounts getting more and more popular. Tax rates expected to likely go up in the future. There's a good chance of that, especially given the effect of all these unemployment claims on the Social Security. It's hard to imagine a world where either tax rates don't go up or benefits might have to be curbed back a little bit. So with that as a backdrop, many of you have decided to put money in a Roth account, and maybe you have from your bank $50 or $100 going in every month. We love that. We highly recommend it. And it's going to help your costs go down over time. It applies to stocks. It applies to funds. It applies to the strategies that many of you are invested in. So we encourage you to do that, and it just encourages the ongoing consistent saving into an account in order to get this dollar cost averaging effect. So some of you right now, of course, the market's had its movement over the last few months. You might have some money that you've set aside, and you're holding on to it, and you feel more comfortable with having that cash sitting there. But if we do get into some major market swings, and you're saying, hey, I want to put some of that to work, I've had a lot of cash maybe sitting in the bank for a couple of years. If you contact us and say, hey, I want to invest some money, should I do it today? Should I do it tomorrow? Should I do it next week? Of course, no one has a crystal ball. You guys have heard us talk about that a few times. But in that kind of situation, we're going to say, hey, we can dollar cost average, and then we don't have to be worried about trying to time everything perfectly. We dollar cost average and we move money in gradually. We're not going to get the absolute lowest price, but we're not going to get the absolute highest price either. So it's going to average out so that our cost is lower than the average price over that time period that we do it. So pretty much there's more. You can get down into some more technical things with dollar cost averaging on how the frequency that you want to do it and the amounts, but just in general, we really like this practice. We very much recommend it. And whether it's an account here with us that we're helping you with directly, or it's your employer account at your job, or for those of you that are self-employed, maybe you have a solo 401k or an SEP, pretty much any investment, this is a good practice to to have with rolling in money. And so as usual on these calls, where I wish we could take questions from you guys and answer those, but you can follow up, shoot us an email to Sydney, Anna, myself, Bob, Stephanie, and if you have any questions about, is this something that I'm doing? Is this something that we can start doing? I would love to help you out with that. So hope this has been helpful. I know it's been a shorter call today. Next week on Tuesday, we'll actually be talking about, what is next week? Let me see here. Next week is the Social Security. So we'll be talking about basics of Social Security 101. I know recently we've had a lot of people that are in their 50s or early 60s, and they're saying, hey, I can start drawing it at 62. Should I? What happens if I wait? Is Social Security going to be there? So we'll be talking about Social Security 101, and maybe that's something that's not applicable to you at the moment, or maybe you're already getting Social Security, but we'll dive a little bit into the details of, what are some things that reduces my Social Security payment, and how does that affect the amount that I'm actually going to receive? So hope that will be a call that you guys join us for. And as usual, if there's any other thing that we can help with, or people that that have questions on this stuff, please give us a ring. We'd love to talk with them. So you guys take care and have a good week.